Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell y'all something about men. See, men, we're simple. We ain't that complicated. But the way you talk to a man, oh, that can make or break everything. You ever wonder why a man shuts down when you talk to him a certain way? It's because of one word: respect. See, when you talk to a man like he's a boy, he'll act like one. But when you speak to him like a king, even when he's slipping, he'll rise up just to prove you right. Let me tell you something real plain and simple. Respect is everything to a man. I ain't talking about ego. I'm talking about how a man processes love. For a man, love is spelled R-E-S-P-E-C-T. That's how he understands it. That's how he feels it. That's how he breathes it. You could be doing everything in the world for him, cooking for him, showing up, supporting, being loyal. But if he doesn't feel respected while you're doing it, he's still going to feel like something's missing. So listen, if you disrespect him for what you're doing, he's going to feel like something. That's the truth most people don't want to say out loud, but I'm going to say it because this is how men are wired. You can love a man deeply, but if that love comes wrapped in criticism, sarcasm, constant reminders of his failures, he ain't going to hear the love part. He's only going to hear that he's not enough. And when a man starts to feel like he ain't enough, when he feels disrespected in his own home, his spirit starts shrinking. His drive slows down. That same man who used to try, who used to show up, who used to dream big, he'll start checking out. Not because he stopped loving you, but because he doesn't feel like a man around you. Now listen, I ain't saying you can't ever disagree with a man. I ain't saying let him do whatever he wants. I'm saying it's all in how you bring it to him, is in the tone, the timing, and the intention. When you approach a man with respect, even when you're holding him accountable, he'll listen. He may not like what you say at first, but he'll hear it, he'll process it, he'll think about it when he's driving, when he's sitting alone, when he's trying to get it right. See, respect doesn't mean you lower yourself. It means you recognize how powerful your words are to a man. Your voice is the most important voice in his life. If the world is tearing him down, but you're building him up, he'll go to war for you. He'll hustle harder, love deeper, stand taller. But if the world is beating him up and you come home and do the same, he'll stop fighting. He'll just shut down. I've seen strong women lose good men, not because they weren't enough, but because they didn't understand how to talk to him with respect. Let me know if you want the next keynote expanded in the same style. Let me explain something that most folks don't even realize about men. Tone is everything. You can say the truth, you can say what needs to be said, but if your tone ain't right, you already lost them. See, women tend to focus on the message, what was said. But a man, he feels how it was said. That's what hits him first. That's what shapes how he reacts to you. A man might forget the exact words you use, but he will never forget how those words made him feel. That tone, your energy, your delivery, is more powerful than the words coming out your mouth. Let me paint the picture. That man might still take it out, but now he's taking it out with resentment. And over time, that resentment builds up. See, it ain't about the trash. It's about how you made him feel while asking him. Men are protectors by nature, providers by instinct. but they shut down when the tone starts sounding like an attack. It don't even matter if what you're saying is right. You could be 100% correct. But if your tone makes him feel small, makes him feel disrespected, makes him feel like you don't believe in him, he's going to retreat, not respond. You ever seen a man just go quiet in the middle of an argument? That's not because he don't care. That's because he knows whatever he says back might make it worse. Or he's already feeling like his voice ain't value. That tone you used, that became the wall between you and him. Ladies, if you want your man to really hear you, not just nod, not just go through the motions, but really listen to you, you got to check the tone before you check him. I ain't saying you can't express yourself. I'm saying you got to decide, do you want to be heard or do you want to be right? Because with men, how you say it often decides if he's going to lean in or shut down. The sweetest truths can sound like insults if the tone ain't loving, and the hardest truths can feel like gold if they come from a place of care and belief. When your tone carries love, encouragement, and respect, that man will move mountains to be better. But if your tone carries judgment, sarcasm, and bitterness, he'll either rebel, retreat, or shut down. And none of those get you what you want. Or you want me to move on to the next keynote too? But I'm tell you something powerful about men. We don't mind being corrected. We don't even mind being held accountable. But what we do mind is being torn down in the process. See, you can correct a man without crushing him. You can guide him without grinding his spirit into the dirt. A real man knows he ain't perfect. He knows he's going to slip sometimes. But how you handle those moments, that tells him everything about who you are to him. Are you his teammate or his critic? Most men don't wake up trying to fail. We don't walk around hoping to disappoint our women. But sometimes life hits us hard. We mess up. We miss the mark. And in those moments, we don't need somebody standing over us saying, "See, I told you." What we need is a woman who knows how to speak life into us while telling us the truth. That's the kind of correction a man respects. That's the kind of woman a man fights for. It don't take much to tear somebody down. Anybody can do that. But it takes wisdom, it takes heart, it takes real love to look at a man who's stumbling and still speak to the king in him. You can say, "Hey, baby, I know you better than that," instead of "you always mess things up." You can say, "I believe in you, but we got to do better," instead of "you're never going to change." See, both versions are correction, but only one of them makes a man want to rise. When a man feels like he's constantly being reminded of his flaws, he stops seeing himself through your eyes. He starts questioning whether he can ever measure up. And let me tell you, when a man loses that confidence, it bleeds into every part of his life, his work, his purpose, his parenting, everything. But when you correct him with love, when you still let him feel like a man even when you're frustrated, that's when growth happens. You got to learn how to lift a man while showing him where he needs to grow. Don't take his mistake and make it his identity. Speak to his potential, not just his problems. Because when you uplift a man in the middle of his mess, he'll remember that. He won't forget who had his back when he didn't even deserve it. That's how loyalty is built. That's how trust grows deep. I've seen men walk away from good women because the correction felt more like condemnation And I've seen other men change their whole lives around because one woman believed in him even when she had every right to be mad. That's what it means to correct with love. That's what it means to uplift even when you're disappointed. It don't mean you're excusing the behavior. It means you're calling him to be better, not beating him down for where he is. You want me to keep going with the fourth keynote next? Now this right here, this is where a lot of people get it twisted. See, a relationship ain't supposed to be a competition between two people trying to prove who's stronger, who's tougher, who's in control. Especially when it comes to a man and his masculinity. A man doesn't need you to match his masculinity. He needs you to complement it. That don't mean you got to shrink yourself. That don't mean you got to be quiet or soft-spoken. If that's not you, what it means is don't challenge his manhood just to prove your own strength. Let me break it down. A man is wired to protect, to provide, to lead. That's how he feels useful. That's where he finds his purpose. But when a woman constantly tries to take over those roles, not because she has to, but because she feels she can do it better, what she's doing, even if she doesn't mean to, is pushing him out of his position. And when a man don't feel needed, when he don't feel trusted to lead, he starts to feel like there's no space for him. He may not say it, he might even act like he's okay, but deep down he feels replaced. And that right there chips away at his masculinity. Let me break it down. A man is wired to protect, to provide, to lead. That's how he feels useful. That's where he finds his purpose. But when a woman constantly tries to take over those roles, not because she has to, but because she feels she can do it better, what she's doing, even if she doesn't mean to, is pushing him out of his position. And when a man don't feel needed, when he don't feel trusted to lead, he starts to feel like there's no space for him. He may not say it, he might even act like he's okay, but deep down, he feels replaced. And that right there chips away at his masculinity. Some women think strength means doing everything yourself, and I respect that. A strong woman is a beautiful thing, but true strength also knows when to let a man be a man. You can still run your business, chase your goals, and hold it down, but in your relationship, if you want your man to lead, you have to allow him to. Not because you're weak, but because you understand that partnership is about roles, not ranks. You play your position, he plays his, and together y'all win. A lot of women say they want a strong man, but then they spend their time trying to dominate him, correct him, challenge every move he makes. That ain't strength, that's control. A strong woman knows how to use her power to inspire a man, not compete with him. She knows that her feminine energy isn't a step down, it's a balance to his masculinity. It brings peace, clarity, softness to his hustle, to his storm. Let a man open the door for you. Let him plan something. Let him fix what's broken, even if you already know how to do it. Not because you can't, but because you're allowing him to walk in his purpose. That small space you give him, that lets him know he's needed, that you trust him. And trust me, when a man feels trusted, he'll rise to the occasion. When you start competing with your man and start complimenting him, you'll see a whole different version of him come alive. Not because you step back, but because you step beside him. That's where the real power is. not in trying to outdo him, but in walking with him. So may I expand the fifth keynote next? Let me get something straight right now. Being soft with a man does not mean you're weak. Don't ever get that confused. Being soft is not about lowering your standards or letting stuff slide that shouldn't. It's not about being quiet when something needs to be said. Nah, softness is strategic. It's a kind of power that works on a man in ways that shouting, pushing, and dominating never could. Because a soft approach, it speaks to his heart, not just his ears. Now see, the world teaches women that if you don't come hard, you won't be taken seriously. That if you don't raise your voice, no one will listen. But what works in the office or out in the world doesn't always work at home. A relationship ain't a boardroom. A man don't want to come home and feel like he's in a debate. He don't want to feel like he has to defend himself every time something goes wrong. And when you come at him with a hard tone, sharp words, or cold silence, it don't correct him, it shuts him down. But when you come with softness, with grace, with calm, now you've got his attention. Softness is not silence, it's not submission, it's presence. It's knowing you can say something that cuts, but choosing instead to say something that builds. That doesn't mean you avoid the truth. It means you deliver it with care. A soft tone can tell a hard truth and still keep the connection alive. That's real strength. That's emotional intelligence. That's a woman who understands her power. A man remembers how you made him feel. He may not recall every word, but he'll never forget the moment you handled him with care when you had every reason to explode. That moment stays with him. That moment teaches him. That moment humbles him. And in return, it makes him respect you even more. Softness allows a man to be vulnerable. I've seen women lose the connection with a good man because they thought being soft made them look weak. But I've also seen women keep their households together, keep their man grounded, simply because they knew when to lean into their gentle power. And that don't mean they let everything slide. It means they chose love over ego, connection over control. If you really want to influence a man, if you really want him to hear you, feel you, move for you, try softness. Ready for the sixth and final keynote. Let me tell you something that most folks overlook. Words are powerful. And when they come from the right woman, man, those words can build something that lasts a lifetime. I ain't talking about just any woman. I'm talking about a woman who sees the potential in her man, who speaks to it, who nurtures it, not with nagging, not with demands, but with vision, encouragement, and belief. That kind of woman, she can turn an ordinary man into something extraordinary. Not because she gave him money, not because she pushed him every day, but because she spoke to the king in him when the world only saw a worker. You got to understand, men carry pressure every single day. Pressure to provide, pressure to perform, pressure to lead, fix, solve, and protect. But under all that weight, what keeps him going ain't just his hustle. It's the voice he hears when he comes home. If that voice says, "You got this, baby, here, push harder." If that voice says, "I see what you're doing, and I believe in you," then even on his worst day, he'll find a reason to keep moving. That's the power of the right words. Now, let me be real with you. Some women tear down their own household with their mouths and don't even realize it. Constant criticism, always pointing out what's not done, comparing him to other men, speaking to what he ate instead of what he could be. You can't build nothing with that. You can't grow a man with that. You can't build no empire in a house where the foundation is doubt and disrespect. But a woman who understands the strength of her words, she'll make her man feel like he can conquer the world. She'll make him feel like he's already success, even when he's still trying to figure it all out. And that belief, that faith, that's the seed that grows into greatness. That man will go out and hustle harder, dream bigger, fight longer. Not because he's scared to lose her, but because he wants to make her proud. You see, empires ain't just made of brick and steel. They're made of belief. And a man can have the vision, he can have the talent, but if he ain't got the right voice in his ear, he might never make the move. But when he does, when he's got that one woman who speaks life, speaks power, speaks love, he'll remember her words every step of the way. When he signs the deal, opens the business, hits the milestone, he won't just see his own name in lights. He'll remember the one who lit the spark. That's why I say it again. The right words from the right woman, that's more valuable than gold. That's the stuff that builds empires, legacies, and love that lasts.